Hey y'all, Happy New Year. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and I have two amazing guests with me today. Whew. First of all, it's January 1st of 2024. So our topic is very, very, very aligned with anyone who's thinking about creating the life you desire in 2024. So I have a Miss Sylvia. I'm going to let her join us. Had not. And how are you, Sylvia?
I'm doing well tonight, Tracy. How are you?
Excellent. You look amazing.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. And we also have another wonderful guest, Mr. Mark Rice. Mark, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You're amazing. So, first of all, thank you both. It's 2024. I'm going to have each of you do a quick introduction. Tell us who you are and what are you most looking forward to in 2024. I'll start with you, Sylvia.
Okay. So you want an introduction. So my name is Sylvia. I am the founder of the Has Everything universe. My last name I was born with is Had Not. And I like to make a little joke that it's past tense because I used to have nothing and now I have everything. And yes, thank you. And what I'm looking forward to in 2024, well, for me, my middle name is Grace, and I'm looking forward to cultivating more of that this year.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Miss Sylvia has everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Love it.
I know it's a big claim.
We all have everything. Like at the end of the day, the concept of living powerfully or the living powerfully experience is really a showcase that we do have everything. You have everything you desire.
Right here, right now.
Full reality. That's about how we show up for ourselves every day.
Right.
And the reason I was super excited to have Mark on is because Mark is going to help me bring some of my desires as relates to well-being and fitness. Mark, tell us who you are and what are you looking forward to doing in 2024?
Well, what's going on? Good evening, everybody. I'm in Atlanta, so I'm a couple hours ahead of you guys. But my name is Mark. I go by Mark the Fitness Preacher. I have begun a faith and fitness initiative to basically to promote spiritual and physical health. I have a class called Temple Turn Up. I'm an ordained elder. I'm actually about to be an executive pastor at my church, but on the other end, I'm certified in group fitness as well as a certified personal trainer and fitness coach. And so just promoting both physical and spiritual awareness, promoting both physical and spiritual health. And so I'm here to just to talk about everything faith and fitness. We believe in Jesus and jumping jacks, scriptures and squat, all of them.
All of that.
All of that.
That's wonderful.
It is awesome. I'm so excited. So you all know this show is called Better Together and Living Powerfully. It's better together because it's so much better when we do this type of work together. And it's called Living Powerfully because it is an experience. The Living Powerfully experience is about how we each show up. So we're going to talk about two topics. We're going to talk about vision, the importance of our visions. And Sylvia has a virtual vision workshop that we're going to actually go through in detail next week. We're going to talk about the why this week. It's so important for us to be clear why it's important to do the work. Why should you want to do it? And then as you think about what Mark is doing, it's the amplification of what most of us say. We want to be more fit. But we're going to talk about how our vision, how our ideas for what we want to do, how that's going to create the life that we want simply by how we show up. So let's start with you, Sylvia. As it relates to this concept of vision, what is your vision and or definition of living powerfully? What does that actually mean in your life?
Yeah. So for me, living powerfully, I think, well, I mean, first of all, I have to think about what does powerful even mean in the context of my life. And I think for a long time, I had this concept that power and force are the same thing. And I don't think that they actually are. I think force is a kind of power, but there's all different ways to be powerful. So that's really connected back to what I was saying about how I want to cultivate more grace in my life too. This year, I really want my power to look soft. I want it to look subtle. I want it to look sweet, but very intentional and very exact. Like a sharp surgeon's knife that's being used, carefully and exactly, and not to hurt any more than necessary. And it's really just only to hurt to heal. Yeah.
I love it. So you said a few of my favorite words. You talked about being intentional. You talked about
Yes.
the important. So being intentional says you're going to show up with a
Oh,
purpose.
yeah.
You said laser focus on a particular purpose. So I love that. Living powerfully, the experience, it's all about intention. It's about deciding what you want to do, being very clear on your vision, and then going after it. I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. Mr. Mark Rice, the fitness preacher. Tell us, what does living powerfully, what did those words mean to you? Oops, you're muted.
Yes, I am. So, living powerfully for me, is really walking in a sense of discipline and self-control. You're gonna hear me talk about those a lot. Because at the end of the day, many of us prefer our wants over our needs. And what happens is I would like to pursue the things that I need so that I can get the things that I want. And within living again purposely, living powerfully, is really allowing God to help me to allowing Him to give me my desires. I don't mean necessarily give me my desires as in God, this is what I want, give it to me. I mean as in God, I want to desire what you desire for me. Because at the end of the day, God knows me better than I know myself, and He knows who I was before I got here. And so, in order for me to live powerfully and to live in purpose, on purpose, and to be who it is that I want to be, I first got to know who it is He wants me to be, and then try to pursue that. And so that's the way I look at it.
I love it. I love it. So Daniel, I know we have a few visuals that we're going to share. One of them is going to be from Sylvia. So just put something in the chat there when you have it ready. But we're going to talk about the importance of vision and vision board. This is a virtual vision board that we're looking at right here.
So this is actually a virtual vision board hypnosis video that I turned my vision board into. Yeah. Because let me tell you, my tummy does not look like that right now, and I want abs in 2024. Like I am so dead set on achieving abs this year. And so I wanted to up my game a little bit and add in a little bit of the science of hypnosis into my manifestations this year. So this video actually also has a sound on the background of it, and it's a specific hertz wave that is the frequency of manifestation. So when that sound is playing in the background and I can see the photos going like this, it kind of ends up putting you into a little bit of a trance state. And these photos really get into your subconscious in a way that they wouldn't otherwise.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So we're going to ask Daniel. I think there was another visual that you had that wasn't moving. And it was
there is. It was attached. Yeah. Yes, there was one that was just.
We're gonna stop this visual for a moment, Daniel, and we're gonna find the other one as well. So what I love about, let's talk about vision first before he brings it up. So let's talk about the importance of vision and what is a vision board. Why should people do it? And we've talked about this as it relates to living powerfully. And I know, Mark, I'm gonna come to you next about the importance of vision. Without a vision, what happens?
People perish.
See, say it again. Say it again. Without a vision, what?
The people perish.
The people perish.
Yep, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning we cannot achieve a
Cast off
goal
for
unless you have a very
absolutely.
clear vision of what that goal is. And our brains are literally computers. They are the
Right.
universe will support you on your journey once you're clear
Yeah.
what you want. Our
Mhm.
brains are target seeking, like, missiles, right? Things will be
Yes.
happening. You're going to recognize. So let's talk about that. We've talked about that on other shows, but I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about vision, defined vision, and vision board, Sylvia.
Yeah, totally. So, well, first of all, a vision is a picture of something that hasn't quite happened yet. And that's my easiest definition of what a vision is. And so this can be a picture that you imagine, it can be a picture that you draw, it can be a picture that you collage and put together. I think a lot of us these days, we struggle with our imaginations for lots of different reasons. So I
Yeah.
find Pinterest, magazines, whatever, to be a really supportive aid, because most of us just don't really have that ability to just imagine a whole picture right now for various different reasons: mental health, just being overstimulated, having all the answers given to you all the time makes you less imaginative. But anyway, um, I think it's really important because, like Mark was saying, like you were saying, without the vision, the people perish. And that's true on an individual level, it's true on a relationship level, it's true in your family unit, it's true in your schoolhouse, in your community. You need a vision. Companies don't just start a LLC and then they're like, all right, what are we doing? No, they have a strategic plan that's been gone over multiple times and approved by boards and stakeholders, etc. And so I think when we start to take ourselves a little more seriously as individuals and realize, oh, I'm actually worth all of that planning too. I'm worth all of that care. I'm worth all of that intention. For whatever your reason you want it to be. For me, I feel like I'm a vessel of the Most High. Actually, scratch that. I know I'm a vessel of the Most High, right? But I'm not at my best vessel when I'm not following the vision.
Mm.
And sometimes, if I'm not careful, that vessel might get filled up with the wrong spirit. And even if it's, we ain't got to go too woo woo with it, but I might find myself doing behaviors that are self sabotaging,
For
behaviors that
sure.
hurt the people around me, or even if it's not harmful, then it might be just not my best. And I'm not serving the way that I know that I'm capable of. So that vision is something that keeps you on track. And for me, it's also something that's very co-collaborative with the spirit. There's a lot of prayer that goes into finding the vision as well, and it's the compass.
That is, girl, you just said so much. You said so much. I saw Mark. Mark was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. So
yeah.
we big
So,
on, we do vision boards at our house too. So like
That's
my wife and I, we have a night. We'll probably do it within the next week or so. We'll do one
Mm-hmm.
every single year. We have our daughters do one. Even our 2-year-old did one last year, and so yeah, we definitely believe in that as well. I mean, when you talk about anytime you talk about vision, anything like that, like you said, it gives you something to aim to.
Right.
And I always gonna talk about faith without works being dead. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And the thing about it is, and a lot of times people hear that and they think
hold
that
on,
if you
Mark.
don't,
Hold on, Mark. Hold on 1 second. I think sometimes you dropping these little nuggets, and I need to slow you down and have you say it so that people understand what he's saying. He said
Yeah.
faith without works
Mm-hmm.
is dead, which means the power that could come from faith
yeah,
is nice for you to imagine a thing, but if you're not doing some work to move you toward your goal, you're not going to accomplish it.
and
Faith
it
without
goes
work, yeah.
it goes hand in hand with vision, right? So I want to bring a perspective on faith that I don't think a lot of people talk about. Faith is not aimless. Faith is not
Absolutely.
aimless. People think faith is you get this bow and arrow and you close your eyes and you just shoot and hope it goes wherever. No, that's not faith, right? Faith. So what happens is there's a vision in mind. There's something God has shown you. There's something again that you see. There's something that He showed you. There's this idea. There's this book. There's this creativity. This organization, right? And so what happens is He shows it to you over there, all the way over on the right side. You're all the way on the left side, and then that faith is when you begin to walk towards what He saw you, what He showed you without actually seeing it for yourself.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's actually going towards that. And
Yes.
when we hear faith without works is dead, a lot of times we
Somehow Mark got muted, I think. Can you hear Mark? So Mark, you got
we
muted.
can't hear you. We can't hear you. No.
So while he's getting it together, what I would like to say is I love everything he just said. He said faith without works is dead, and faith is not aimless, right?
Yeah.
It is very direct. Say something, Mark. You can't hear us either? Maybe we'll have you go out and come back in. Or unless Daniel, our producer, can work some of his magic. Okay, so faith without work is dead. That's what Mark just said. And what you were talking about, Sylvia, was this focus on having a clear vision, being very clear about what you want to accomplish, and then being very intentional, the word that one of my favorite words, being very intentional about the steps that you take to achieve that vision. So the reason you bring it up, the reason you use hypnosis, the reason you try to convince yourself that, hey, this is what I want. You're basically creating this path to achieve what you want. It's not aimless. It's very intentional. It's very structured. And what I love about what I was going to say when you were talking earlier is it's one step at a time.
Exactly.
Talk about that. Talk about why seeing it regularly, creating this virtual vision board, which we're going to physically do next week. We're going to talk about, if you can show some of the processes, some of the things you've done, that would be great. We're going to talk about what people are going to need to do. So people get ready. She's going to be very clear on what we need to do to accomplish the goal that we want, goal or goals plural that we want for 2024. So this vision board is step by step. Let's talk about that.
Right. Yeah. So for me, it has to be step by step, because you could have, all these big things that you want to accomplish in a whole year, but what matters is each individual day. And so I like to get really technical with it. I will plan out. So after I do my vision board and I come to a conclusion about what are the actual images that I've decided are going to be like these highlight defining images of 2024. And the vision board templates that I use for these virtual boards, they only have, say, 15 to 20 slots on them. So that's not a lot of images for you to put on. As you can see, these are the highlight hallmark images.
Let's do the non-moving one, Daniel. I think there's one that's not a video.
There is one that's static, yeah.
So yeah, let's
that one. Yeah, that's great.
I'm getting hypnotized.
Right, exactly. And you don't need to get hypnotized by my vision. That's for me. But anyway, and hi, nice to see you back, Mark. Is your mic back working?
I think so. I can hear you guys.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I couldn't hear you guys either.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It just got into. So we're glad to have you back. So we're going to talk really, really quickly. You were saying vision, faith. Faith is not random. It's very intentional. You're focused. Right. And Sylvia was just talking about the steps we take. Like it has to be step by step, moment by moment. So you both can continue to talk about that.
Go ahead, Sylvia. Go ahead.
Fine. I'll finish quick and then you can jump in. So I was just saying, if you think too hard, especially for those of us who might have been impacted by lifelong traumas or different ways that we think, maybe you have an ADHD diagnosis, whatever. If you look at the whole year and all that stuff that you want to accomplish as one thing, you're going to psych yourself out and you're not going to do jack squiddly. Okay. But if you cut it down by quarters of the year and then going into this first quarter, plan it out by the month, and heading into our January, plan it out by the week. Then at the beginning of each week, you can plan out every day. And so therefore, and make sure it's just enough for that day where you can have a win and you will feel successful at the end of the day and confident, unless something crazy happens, because life happens. But the more of those small wins you have in a row, the more you set yourself up for success by chunking those goals out, the more confidence you're going to grow, and then you're going to be manifesting faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that going to what I was saying, taking those steps. I think that's perfect. Actually, man, that's something I implemented. I used to be the same way. I'm not even gonna lie. I will write down.
Well, I don't have any kids yet, so I have more time.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I gotta do this. I gotta do this, and then
Right.
you end up with a whole lot of nothing. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so that's something I start doing as well. I'll make a little to do. Okay, what do I want to get done today? And try to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So no, I appreciate you saying that. That was good.
Yeah. And what I love about this with the Living Powerfully experience, we've talked about the neuroscience of the brain. Like this isn't like make believe. It's the reason I love this so much is because it's both scientific and it's spiritual. We get the benefits of both. So it's like proven to work based on the neuroscience of the brain, based on positive psychology, based on cognitive behavioral psychology and performance science. So we're talking like research that is with guaranteed to work if you work it. Like the brain is not, you can say it's complex and it's extreme. It's the most complex, computer, like more complex than any supercomputer in the world. So it's complex, but to create the life you want is so simple. When she just said, take it step by step, day by day, it's literally moment by moment.
Yeah.
Right. It's in those moments. The reason I love the work we do with the Living Powerfully experience with positive intelligence is they've created a foundation, right? It's like, how do you decide, right? Choose in the moment what is going to help you accomplish your goal. How do you create a space where I heard you mention the word saboteur or sabotage? How do you minimize those saboteurs? We all have them. So with the positive intelligence, you identify those saboteurs, you name them so you can see them and you can be like, yep, nope, I see you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that today. Instead, I'm going to do this. So it's really about that, seeing the sabotage, the self-sabotage that used to happen, deciding, nope, I'm going to do something different. And here's what I'm going to do, having a plan, right? A clear vision for what that's going to look like. And then taking that step in the moment. It's going to help you achieve your goal. It literally, and then you celebrate. Yay. She talked about celebrating the win. Your brain is like hearing you. You got 25, 35, 55, if you mean 54 years of experience with whatever you used to do. We're saying create new neural pathways, reshape your thinking. We're saying he used the term discipline. Discipline is just choices. It's just choices. It's not like it's big thing that's like a 1,000-pound gorilla that you got to go. No, it's not. It's actually each choice. Discipline happens each choice that you decide. I'm going to do a thing that is going to create the life of my dreams. So if we're talking about vision boards, choices, and being intentional, tell me real quick, Sylvia, how you use your vision board to be intentional and to make different choices. How do those visuals really help you to do that? And then I'm gonna come to you, Mark.
So right now I have it on my phone lock screen. So this is my vision board right here. It's also inside too. So I've got it everywhere. I might print it out, but I put it in different places. And then that hypnosis video, we don't need to look at that again, but I watched that myself like at night before I sleep when my mind is like starting to doze off. And I think that what the science shows us is your imagination needs some reminders and some cues.
That's good.
And so like if you want something else for your life, but all you're looking at every day is the same old life, you're not going to get something else. So you need to be looking at these things that are different, that represent what you want, and then you'll start to see them pop up. And it's not really as woo-woo, la 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 as it sounds. It's just like, if I look at this photo of abs every day and next to the girl who is weightlifting and then the girl with her gym bag that's like in this cute little crop top.
I'm going to pull that up as you're talking about it. Go ahead and share that one more time, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, the static one, that would be great. So there's this cute girl with the gym bag. There's this girl who's cooking some yummy, nice homemade food. Also, I want to improve my yoga practice this year and specifically my handstands. And then there's the abs, and then this girl who's lifting weights right here, kind of a little cut off. But the idea is if I'm looking at those every day, I'm going to find myself doing little things. Like I'm going to be thinking more about the gym instead of every day I'm at home, and I never take my gym clothes that I already have. I don't even need to go buy the cute outfits. I already have them. I never take my gym clothes that I already have out of the closet. I don't look at them. I'm not thinking about the gym. It's just less likely to happen. It's just like a little way of tricking your brain into having these reminders. You can also set reminders on your phone, like every morning at 7 a.m. Hey, doesn't a workout sound nice? And then like make it cute, make it pretty, make it fun, make it inviting. Like don't make it a punishing thing. Like make this a celebratory, exciting, inviting thing.
Thank you for sharing that, Daniel. I love it. I love it. Do you have any other examples of vision boards, or was it just that one? Did you send him anything else? Were those just the two? So to make sure.
Yeah, that was the only one I sent. So that's my 2024 vision board. This is the first year that I did this virtual protocol, and in past years I've done physical. So I think I could go grab one from my closet, but
no, you're great. This is great because we're gonna have you back next week as well. So this is an intro for everyone. Then we're gonna talk to you here in a second. Oh, we actually got a break that's gonna be happening in 1 minute. So as we go into break, let's give people one clear nugget as they're thinking about their vision, and then as they're thinking about physically how are they gonna create the life that they want. About each of you, give people one quick thing to do. Starting with you, Sylvia.
I would say be devotional in your discipline. Like let it be something that you surrender yourself to completely.
Did you say the word surrender? That's my 2024 anthem. Being
Heck
totally
yeah. I love it.
I love it too. Thank you so much. Mark, thank you. Same question. Well, as we go into the break, and then we're back in just a few minutes, tell us real quick, what is one thing that you would recommend people do?
So it's always one thing to be very clear on who you are, but it's another thing to be very clear on who you are not. And if you can be very clear on who you are not, then you can actually focus on who you are. And so what happens is a lot of times because we're gifted and we have these different things we want to do, we think that we can do everything and we're supposed to do everything. Now you can do all things through Christ. It just don't mean you're supposed to. So if you can be clear on who you are not, then you can start to walk in really who you are. Stop letting people do things that you don't need to be doing.
Mark, that's juicy. That is awesome. Thank you so much. So y'all, we'll be right back. This is Traci Harrell with Bigger Than Me. Excuse me, Better Together and Living Powerfully. We'll be right back.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not meeting Mrs. Jones in that cafe for a chat and nothing else, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
I think this project and really this community has pushed us as a company and definitely me personally on what this work can look like and what we can do.
Says Patrick McGoughlin, Senior Project Manager at Lydig Construction. Lydig Construction is making an effort to make that dream a common reality for communities of color. Through their work with Seattle Public Schools and programs like ANEW, they're working to create opportunities for individuals to have successful and fruitful careers in construction.
The sense of pride of like walking by and being like, oh yeah, I did that. Like I built that, or I had a hand in building that. I think that is an awesome feeling.
Says Rainey Kendall, first period apprentice at Lydig Construction. Meanwhile, former Seattle School Board Director Betty Patu says,
our kids deserve a new building because they come and they study hard as they can. And a lot of times you throw things at them thinking that's not that important. But when they see this building, that tells them you are very important to this community.
If you're looking for a new career and you think construction might be for you, you can visit buildthebeachforusbyus.com to learn more and hear about the program.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
This is Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter. Join me every week to get information on activities and issues that impact the lives of older adults and their families. That's Seniors Matter every week on Rainier Avenue Radio.
We're breaking barriers in Washington. The Covenant Home Ownership Act tackles both past and present discriminatory practices in our housing industry by offering down payment assistance to affected families. A study is underway, and your voice is needed to help document the extent of discrimination and determine who may be eligible. Complete our brief survey by January 7th at wshfc.org/covenant. Again, that's wshfc.org/covenant. Program funds will be available this summer, administered by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not cooking up a batch of my famous wood-flavored chicken, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Have you ever went over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good?
This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and you're watching Better Together and Living Powerfully. And my guest today is Miss Sylvia Hadnot. Miss Sylvia Hadnot has everything, by the way. She has everything. And Mark Rice, the fitness preacher. Oh my God. Y'all, what's so exciting, in case it's not clear, we do one thing on this show. We are all about helping you to achieve the life of your dreams. We say we help people have their best, their most successful, their most powerful year yet by you becoming your most successful, your most powerful you yet. So we just end with Mark saying, hey, it's not just important to have a vision about who you are. He just said it's important to have a vision about who you are not. Tell us a little bit more about that, Mark. Who are you not?
Oh,
And
yes.
who are you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so the reason I said that is because I feel like oftentimes there's so many influences in the world, right? There's so many influences between what the news is saying, between social media, between your mom and them, right? Between everybody at church, between the people at your job. And so what happened is people will say things where you're like, you know what? You're good at this. You should do this. Man, you're an amazing this, and you should do this. But what happens is if there's a clear purpose, a clear assignment, and a clear vision, what'll happen is you'll be doing so many things that you can do, and you'll lose sight of what you're supposed to do. You'll do all of these things that you can do, and you'll lose sight of what it is you're supposed to do. And the fulfillment is what you're supposed to do. The fulfillment is in purpose. The purpose, the reason why something or someone was created. That's where you get your fulfillment from. And so what happened is if you're so focused on doing what you can do and you lose sight of what you're supposed to do, then you'll get wrapped up in all of these other things and you'll start going in all these different directions when there is a clear path that is set out for you.
I love that. So, Mark, you realize you just added another definition, another layer to your original definition of what living powerfully is. Because you just said you're living out your purpose. There's something that gifts, special gifts that are inside of you that you uniquely can contribute to the world. There may be other things you can do, but the gifts, purpose, there's something so powerful about living your purpose. That's living powerfully.
Absolutely.
Showing up for yourself and then supporting others on their journey by doing what you do.
And I don't think we talk a lot. I don't think we talk enough about purpose. Ultimately, I mean, because what happens is I think we don't necessarily teach it correctly because we teach purpose as a destination, right?
Say it again. Hold on. See, you dropping these nuggets. I gotta slow you down. He said the reason it's not always correct is because when you're teaching purpose as a destination as opposed to what?
Purpose is not something you go to, it's something you walk in.
Hold, please. I need a moment. I need a moment.
Thing
Say
is,
it
your
again.
purpose.
Say it again. Say it again. That was too
Purpose
good.
is not something you go to. You don't go to purpose. Everybody's trying to, well, what's my purpose? How do I go? How do I get to my purpose? You don't get to your purpose. You walk in your purpose, because your purpose develops, right? Because before I was doing ministry, and I was on a prayer team at my church when I was a single man, right? But then I met my wife, and I became a husband. So now this part of my purpose is now developed, because now I'm a whole husband out here. That wasn't a part of my purpose. Now it's a part of my purpose, and now I'm having to walk in being a successful husband. Well, we messed around and had 2 little girls. Okay, so now I have to walk in purpose now as a father. And now my purpose as a husband and my purpose as a father, so it is superior to my purpose is whatever everybody else want me to be. So I'm walking in purpose, and it's not necessarily a destination. And I tell people this, even when you talk about vision, if I can just deviate really quick to even vision within like relationships, right? If you have a vision for your relationship, a vision for your marriage, anything you talk about vision, you have to understand that as purpose develops, you're literally going to have to fall in love with the same person a number of different times.
Yeah.
Because my wife didn't marry a husband and a father. My wife didn't even marry somebody in ministry.
Wow.
You see what I mean? When my wife met me, I was a dude who I went to church, I went to the gym, and I hung out with my cousin on the weekends. That's it. But eventually, when I started getting into ministry, when I started doing music, when I started preaching, when I started to become a husband, now I'm a husband, now I'm a father, now I'm traveling with church, and that's different. I didn't fall in love with a mother.
Love that. That is so beautiful.
I met my wife. She was still going. She's a nurse now. She was going through nursing school, so she was a nighttime nurse. A tech. She was a nighttime tech. You see what I mean? And so what happens is, as you're walking in vision, as you're walking in purpose, it develops. And the reason why a lot of relationships don't last, a lot of friendships don't last, is because what happens is you'll fall for the 2010 version of somebody when you're in 2020.
Or 2020, 2024, and someone's trying to remind you of who you were back in 2020, right? Correct. You moved on, and they're still trying to remember who you were back then, and you've already moved. That's absolutely why relationships some relationships don't last. So I appreciate that. That is beautiful. Thank you, Mark. Were you gonna say something else?
Oh no. I was just rambling.
You get me all excited. So I saw you nodding your heads, Sylvia, as she was talking about purpose. Tell us a little bit about, for you, this concept of vision. And you also do other stuff around mental wellness and helping people achieve their goals.
Yeah.
Wellness, if you think about the idea of you choosing to spend the time and invest the time in the things that you want to, that you were put on this earth to accomplish, there's such peace in that. Right.
Yeah.
Often we struggle because we're not on path. We're not doing what we're meant to do. We're talk a little bit about purpose and vision and the importance of being aligned for your mental well-being.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll speak for myself, right? I think there are some people who are not like me that don't need to focus on purpose as much. And that's okay. And for me, if I don't focus on purpose, then I will absolutely get myself in a mess. I just will. I'm one of those people where if I'm not intentional about what I'm doing, like, I think that self-sabotage is more normalized in the long-term timeline of my life, of what I've experienced. Self-sabotage is a lot more normal than self-success and self-love and self-determination. So this is new for me, and I'm so unwilling to continue living in self-sabotage, and I'm so interested in just living in, just like Mark was talking about, living in, walking in, letting this be my daily process, self-determination, self-love, self-upliftment, and then also being in community with people who are also doing that. So then there's also co-determination, co-love, upliftment, just like we're doing on this podcast right now, or excuse me, radio show. So for me, I can't say purpose is my savior because, purpose isn't God, but it's definitely a tool that I use that keeps me on track. And without it, I just feel lost. And then, you can go bigger than that too if you want to, depending on whatever your faith system is. But I think that for me, my purpose brings me closer to God as well.
I love it. And the thing that gets me super excited is that we've talked about, again, the scientific approach to living powerfully. Right. We also talked about this concept of this Better Together Empowerment Series. Again, the National Black MBA Association is a group that was founded over 54 years ago based on the topic of economic and intellectual empowerment. So we collectively, we're a bunch of volunteer leaders who show up in community. So when I use the term Better Together Empowerment Series, that's my way of saying it is, we know you're 500% more likely to complete any task when you do it in community, when you do it with accountability, when you do it with a group. It's scientifically proven, and we're not making this up. It's all research based. So it's exciting to say we're going to show up. So not just what can happen, this is what we're going to do. So let me just get people ready for next week. Right, as we move into this is the beginning of 2024, we're going to be very intentional week after week. We have a 6-week program that we're leading called the Living Powerfully Experience with Positive Intelligence. We have some focus. I have friends in high places. So Miss Sylvia was like, oh, let me talk to you about visioning, and not only a vision board, but a virtual vision board that anyone can do in a very short amount of time. So we're going to talk real quick, Sylvia. Next week, we're going to actually do one. Part of the session is going to be an actual workshop. What does that look like? What do people need to prepare for? They need to go find some images. Talk us through what that looks like. And then Mark, what we're also going to do next week for the second half of the show is really get real about what it takes to truly transform our bodies, transform our minds. You got the temple turn up. We're going to talk about that and really figure out what does this need to look like from an actuation. We're going to actualize these visions. So the vision boards aren't something that's sitting on the wall, right? We're going to turn into reality. So talk real quick, Sylvia, get people ready for next week. What do they need to think about? Talk about the process. What do they need to be ready for? Can they do it on their phone? Do they need a computer? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so computer would definitely be best. You can do it on your phone, but I find the small screen really just kind of annoying. So I would use the computer, unless you're maybe a Gen Z phone whiz, then you might have the skills for it. But yeah, no, next week I'm going to help you all figure out what the what is, and then Mark's going to help you figure out what the how is. And so what you'll want to do is look back on 2023, like whether that's in your photo roll on your camera, your archives on Instagram, your Facebook photos that you posted this year. Just do a quick visual review of the year and maybe notice what are the things that stick out, like, oh, I want more of that in 2024. And notice what are the things like, I'm going to let that thing be compost. We're leaving that in 2023. And the cool thing about it is all that stuff, it really does become compost. Like, whereas if you let it sit out on the counter, it's going to become nasty and moldy and gross up your house. But if you really, let the dead bury their dead, if you put the ashes back where the ashes go, back in the earth, the compost becomes nutrients for new fruit. So, good. You just got to figure out what to do with the thing. It's not like you don't got to be ashamed of it. You just can't let it sit out because that's when it gets gross. But you got to do something with it, and then it'll become something good. So, yeah, look back on those photos. That's all you really need to do to prepare.
And then are you going? And you're going to create. We're going to be online. We're going to just walk us through the process.
So
give us a 2-minute overview.
Will use 2-minute overview. So what we'll do is we'll use Canva, the canva.com website, or the app if you have on your phone or computer. And I have 3 different templates you can choose from. So, I'm an art teacher, so I like to be a little creative, give people different types of things. Never know which students are going to like which things. And you will look up some Pinterest photos that are the stuff that you want to bring with you into 2024. and then anything else new that you want to manifest. And yeah, and then we'll put those into the template, and I can show you how to make it into a hypnosis video if you want.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll see what happens.
So basically, people wanted to get started. They need how many photos? At least 15 of things that they want to manifest, things that they want to create. This vision board is about you creating a visual. So that what was that? 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack that lady had on your screen? That may not be your 6-pack, but she's basically saying, go find what you want. Yes, that's one of those things. So I love that. I love that so much. So go find some pictures. So when we get together, we can make it quick and we can show you the methodology for creating it. I saw you have it as a screensaver. So imagine every time you open the phone, if those images were right there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have you. There you go. I'm definitely going to do that as well. So that's one. That's making it real. That's turning a vision into reality, because you're going to see it every day. And I love that. I love that. So Mark, tell us a little bit more about your journey. Like, what journey can you take me on? Help me on, because right now part of my journey is to release excess weight, to continue to focus on my body as a divine temple. I've lost 33 pounds already, just from being more focused on how I eat, what I eat, like being, as we call it, I say using a PQ power prayer. So basically I pause and I'm very intentional. So I enjoy every bite. When I'm drinking water, I say, Lord, let this hydrate my body. Lord, let this food be nutritional on every bite. So it's very intentional. And that slows you down. It's neuroscience as well, because you eat less. I start a meal and I say, my stomach is the size of my fist. Well, that in itself is huge. So really creating a different landscape for what I'm going to do. So on the eating side, I feel pretty comfortable, right? I'm making better choices. Like you said, what's good for me versus what's not good for my temple, my divine temple, right? I'm feeling very comfortable with that. I have not physically started activating. I have some knee issues, some other things. So you're going to get us ready to activate. So let's talk a little bit about, for those people who may want to eat healthier and or may want to activate, tell us what your contributions are and how you're going to help them make it real as we get together next week and potentially beyond that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So again, so I always say this: anytime you're about to go on a new journey or start a new initiative or do something for yourself, you really need a why. I think we talk about that, but we don't really understand the power of that why. But if you can really get a real why am I doing this, sometimes your why drives you when your desires don't. Sometimes your why will drive you. And so, and let me just say this, I won't take too much time, but so for me, I always kind of fluctuated in my weight, and then over COVID hit me for like 20, 25 pounds. I had a work from home job, just sitting around and eating honey buns and making bad decisions. And doing that all day. And then I came out, and I mean, just to be completely transparent, just so somebody may need to hear this, but for the first time at the top of 2021, they said that my blood pressure was elevated. And so I didn't know much about those things. I didn't realize that African American men were at the most high risk for high blood pressure in our country. And see, I didn't know that. So I started doing my research, and they said it's either going to be lifestyle or hereditary. And so I made a decision, if it's coming for me, it's going to have to be hereditary, And so changed my lifestyle, got a trainer. And once I started to see the results, the Lord really started dealing with me about the fact that so often when it comes to people who don't believe in God, they really take care of their bodies. They take care of their bodies, but people who the people not in the church, they take care of their bodies, but a lot of people in the church don't. And it's like, and we got God, and we have the way of discipline, and we have the one who has all power, and we don't take care of our bodies. And so what happens is, it created a why in me. It created a why in me because I seen so many people with vision, purpose, and capability who get blessing on blessing on blessing, but not healthy enough to enjoy it.
Oh.
And we always talk about God wants us to prosper and be in good health, but what happens when God wants to bless you? What happens when God wants to manifest things? What happens when God wants to bring everything on your vision board to pass, but you're not healthy enough to enjoy it?
You got a reaction out of both of us on that one. Sylvia was like, see what he said. She's like, what he said. Sylvia, what tell us about your reaction to that?
I feel like that's me right now. What's crazy is literally every single thing on my vision board from 2023 manifested. But what I didn't care to intend to was my heart, my emotional health, my mood, my ability to be comfortable being uncomfortable, doing something new. And I'm like this close to squandering like some of the things that are very important to me that manifested right now, right? Because of exactly what he's talking about. And I'm just like, I learned that the hard way. I'm learning that the hard way right now in this very moment today.
Yeah.
And so take it from me.
Yeah, and I and again, the beauty of it is though, is that like you're seeing that, you know that, and many of us don't have that revelation, right?
Right.
And
it's a blessing.
I can say it from my own personal standpoint. Anytime you go through something, that builds compassion for others as well, right?
Yeah.
And so
okay, stop, Mark. So I told you when you drop a nugget, I gotta slow you down and put the kickstand down. Say that again every time you what?
When you go through things, it builds a compassion for other people.
Right.
Only compassion and capacity for others, because your learnings, everybody don't have to go through the same shenanigans.
Right.
Someone else is going through it, you can see that, and you can see their wins. Hey, if one man can do it, another one can as well. If one woman can do it, another one can. So we keep talking, Mark. I love that.
Yeah, and so, but going back to what we talked about. So again, just establishing that why, and I've reached a place where number one, the essence of ministry is God did something for me, and I want to help other people get there. You know what I mean? I want to help other people. Jesus saved my life. I want to introduce people to him. So with this, I know he did this for me with my health. You know what I mean? And so there's still some things that transparently, you know, that I'm working through hereditarily, but it ain't lifestyle. You know, and so I know if he did it for me, I know that he could use me as a conduit for other people. So there are tips, there are ways. I mean, going back to the reframing, right? I know that's like a positive psychological term, is the reframing. You know, being able to change and switch the perspective. And many of us, this would be something for next week, because that's gonna be my biggest thing. And many of us had a different perspective on things, it would change our life.
It changes everything.
Absolutely.
I love it. It changes everything.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna actually let me real quick. I was gonna say that earlier, Mark, when you were talking about discipline too, because like for me, the reason I said like let your discipline be devotional is discipline's another thing that I have. I just like created a story that discipline and force go together, and I just really don't like force, and so I'm like, well, I'll just be floppy every day then, no discipline, and I threw the baby out with the bathwater. But like I changed the story that I tell myself about discipline, like, oh, this is about my devotion to my vessel, this is about my devotion to my temple body, this is about my devotion to my God, to my service. And I'm better able to serve when my body is in more better physical shape.
I love it. I love that so much.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah.
We started here. I love it when the show kind of comes full circle, because we started out with you talking about this concept of surrender. And I said, oh, that's one of my favorite words. And you talked about intention. I'm like, oh, that's another one of my favorite words. And you also talked about, when I asked you to define living powerfully, you said you want grace. You want to ease right into it. The beautiful part of the story that we're telling, the beautiful part of the tools that we're providing is that it is about ease and flow. When you walk in your purpose, it is ease and flow. Some people are like, I don't know if I'm in my purpose. I have no idea. When your body knows, your heart knows, right? There's a peace and a calm that comes when you're excited about something. You can do it all day. And if you had $1 million, if you had millions of dollars, and you could do whatever you want for free, it's that thing that you would do for free, that you know is going to help others. It's going to contribute to the universe. So I just love the idea of you saying, you know, living powerfully is not about force. It's actually the opposite. It's about grace. It's about ease and flow. And that's what we get to actually do. The vision, when we say allow the science and the spirit to both work for you, it all starts
Right.
with vision. So again, we're coming back with more visioning, more vision boards. We only got a few minutes left. I want both of you to identify real quick. How can people find you? Sylvia, how do they find you?
Yeah, so my website is haseverythinguniverse.com. You can drop me a line there. There's a little message box. My podcast is on there, and other stuff. So feel free to come hang out.
Has everything. Mark, same question. How do people find you?
Yep. So on Facebook, Mark Rice Jr., Instagram, Mark Jr. _ Remedy, and on TikTok, I do Mark _ the Fitness Preacher, and on TikTok I go live every Friday. If you want a good workout, Friday morning, well, it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know that's kind of early over there, but yeah, I'm live on TikTok every Friday.
Is there something that you wanted to share? I think we got a couple of minutes left. Is there something that you wanted us to share? Let us know, Daniel, if you have anything ready from Mark's email. It's not all good.
Either I sent a couple clips, but I don't know if I may have been late. We'll
Couple
see.
visuals.
Yeah, so I'll just while he's pulling up, I'll just explain just what it is. I teach a class, so I do training as well. Like I said, certified in group and personal. But I teach a class called Temple Turn Up. Oh, there we go. There we go. Don't play.
It looks a little choppy too.
It's a little choppy.
It's a little choppy to me right now. But they will go to your website. They'll find you online. I'm sure you have those links there. I could not be more grateful for the two of you. So again, we're actually going to, this is part one, and then next week we're going to do another, again, amplification. We're going to turn it live. So for Sylvia, she's going to support us in actually doing a virtual vision board. So everyone comes with your visuals. I will have mine. Mark is going to have his. We're going to actually manifest the life that you want. And again, this isn't just about some nice to have. This is a must have. Having a clear vision, like you said, faith without works, we're going to help you actually work it out. Mark, anything that you want to share? I'm going to have you close, Sylvia. Anything you want to share, Mark, real quick about what people can do between now and next week for their maximum health? Anything you want to share?
Anything that I want to share is probably start their maximum health.
Health, wellness, anything you want to share as actions for people to do between now and next week when we bring you back to help bring to reality the next level of our wellness.
I would say that this week, really identify your why. Really identify your why. And then again, we can start talking about the what and the how. But identify your why.
I love it. Miss Sylvia, what are you asking people to do to activate their vision?
Get visual. So don't shy away from looking at all that 2023 was and really look at it and face it. Look at the photos that you're not as excited about. 2023 was a challenging year for a lot of people. So it's okay if there are things that you're not proud of. It's good to still look at them and we'll do something with them together.
I love it, y'all. This is Better Together and Living Powerfully. Again, it's better when we do this together and living powerfully. The Living Powerfully experience is something that you create. You have everything you need, and we're here for you to help you make this your best, your most successful, and your most powerful year yet. So stay with us right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. We'll see you again next week. Thanks.